Hello, my name is Ashley and this is a podcast or vlog all about fiber arts. So mostly knitting, but some sewing and some spinning. So grab your knitting or whatever project you're working on, get comfortable, and I hope you enjoy our little chat. So like I said, my name is Ashley and I am a knitter and sometimes pattern designer based in Vancouver Island, British Columbia in Canada. Today I have a lot of finished objects to show you, which is very exciting. I have some works in progress, but really I finished up a lot of my projects, so I'm starting some fresh ones. And yeah, I just thought that we could chat a little bit about it. We can start with what I'm wearing. This is the Merengue cardigan by Shimizu. I knit this a couple years ago, maybe about 3 years ago. And the yarn is Merino Fingering by Everlea Yarns. She's a BC hand dyer, botanical dyer. So this is dyed with indigo, and I like it. I love it. I wear it a lot. It's very comfortable. I love the light blue color, and the cardigan just is easy to throw on and match with a lot of things. So last time I came to you in my last episode, the Scratch That, Reverse It, Mitts and Headband patterns had just been released into the world. So it's been pretty cool to see their reception. I just love seeing people knit them up, especially the little baby kid versions. There's something about them that are just so adorable. These tiny little mitts on tiny little hands. So yeah, I've been really excited to see those versions. But the pattern is out there. I'll put a link below in the description box. But yeah, the pattern is available in child up to adult sizes, so it's great for the whole family, and they're really quick knits, so they're good just to be able to knit something up quick before the weather gets warm. So like I said, I have a lot of finished objects, so I'll just jump right in and start showing you them. First off, what's been longest on my needles is my pressed flowers cardigan. It's finally finished. You can see this sleeve is blocked, this sleeve is not blocked, but it's done and the buttons are sewn on, and I'll probably soak just this one sleeve tonight and let it dry so that it's ready to wear. I've been working on this cardigan for quite a few months actually. It hasn't been a priority knit, so I've just kind of slowly been working away on it. Along with Casey from Young Folk Knits, we hosted the I Can Buy Myself Flowers knit along, and so this was one of my projects that I worked on for that knit along, and I'm so happy that it's finally done and I can wear it. I used Cormo yarn, Cormo wool, for the main color, this kind of like yellowy green color. I don't know what you'd call that, chartreuse, whatever it is. It's Elemental Effects Cormo Fingering, or no, Sport, and it's my first time ever knitting with Cormo, and I really loved it. It was just so nice to work with, and it's created this really like stretchy, bouncy fabric. It has a nice drape to it, but it's not flimsy. It kind of holds its structure. I really like the Cormo, and I'll definitely be making more from this yarn. And then the contrast color I used, so the flowers, that is a Queensland collection Rainbow Beach, and it's just a color changing yarn, very similar to Spin Cycle Dyed in the Wool, but it's a budget friendly option. So I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I like the high contrast flowers, and the squish, the feel of the fabric from the Cormo is incredible, and the fit of this cardigan is phenomenal. I knew when I was knitting it up that it fit really, really nicely along the shoulders. It wasn't going to fall off, kind of like this cardigan does. This cardigan likes to kind of slip and fall. But the shaping in this pattern by Savory Knitting is just perfectly done. So it fits really, really well. It's a drop shoulder, but the drop shoulder hits really nicely on my arm. It's not too low, not too high. And then the sleeves are just a nice fit. The whole thing is just really, really well designed to fit nicely. So I sewed on the buttons today. I used these mother of pearl buttons. And they're kind of shimmery colors that are similar to the purples and greens in some of these flowers. So I thought that they suited nicely. I actually put it up in a poll in my Instagram stories. I gave people 4 options to choose from, and the mother of pearls were the most popular. But I also really like them, so I decided to go with them. So yeah, I sewed on the buttons today and immediately put on the cardigan, and I was wearing it around the house, and my husband doesn't normally comment on the fit of my knits. He'll comment on the color or the yarn or, you know, the style of them. He stopped and he was like, "This is the most best fitting sweater that you've ever made." And I can't agree more. I really, really am pleased with this. I'll try it on for you. So here it is. As I said, the drop shoulders just fit so perfectly. I knit the size 2, which gave me 5 inches of positive ease, and I think that's just perfect. It sits right at my hips, and I'm just very, very pleased with this one. So I think I had mentioned before in a previous episode that I had some difficulties with the pattern, just understanding some parts of it. I think I just misinterpreted some sections, or I'd get a little lost in the instructions. Like I said before, the actual garment design is spectacular in this pattern. Amy Christoffers is the designer, and she just did a wonderful job in the shaping, in the grading. I just must be on a different wavelength when I was reading the pattern, because yeah, I came across I made some silly mistakes as I was knitting it, but I was able to work through them, and I'm very, very happy with the finished sweater. All right, on to finished object number 2. It's another cardigan. I needed some more cardigans in my wardrobe, so I've been working away at them. And this is the Primaveral cardigan by 100 Acre Wool, or Isabella Clark. So she's all done with buttons sewn on as well. I'm glad that this is done now while the weather is still cold. I'll still be able to wear this for a little bit, but this is definitely like a winter sweater. So I knit this out of Nutiden yarn from owner Ock Air in the color Fibre, and it's this nice gray, and the pattern is this cabled and smocked 1x1 ribbing with slight balloon sleeves, and then it gives you the option to either knit a straight normal double knit button band, or this is a crocheted scalloped button band. And I really liked the look of Bella's cardigan with a scalloped button band, so I went for that myself. I'm not a crocheter. I really don't know what I'm doing, but her pattern instructions were written very clearly, and I looked up a YouTube video on just like your basics on how to chain, and I guess, is it chain 1, chain 2? I'm not sure. But anyways, I followed the instructions and I was able to do it no problem. So I feel like if any of you were are not crocheters and wanted to attempt it, I think that you could do it too. So I'll try this on for you to see it, see the fit. Here it is. I have a tied shirt, so I'll tuck that in. I made this slightly more cropped than the pattern recommended. The pattern recommends one more stitch pattern repeat, which would be about 1.5 inches longer. And I wanted this to be cropped so that I could wear it with skirts and dresses. And as you can see, there's the scalloped button band. The instructions say to make your buttonholes on every other scallop. And I went with these pretty little rhinestone buttons just because the pattern's kind of feminine and girly, and I felt like the buttons are kind of fancy and feminine as well, and it just dresses it up. I think that this will be more of a dressy cardigan that I wear, yeah, specifically with skirts and dresses, so I wanted to go with that more kind of fancy look to it. So I knit the size 3 in this pattern, and it gave me about 5.5, 6 inches of ease, especially after blocking out the cables and ribbing. Like, it kind of pulled it out a little bit more, but I like the boxy fit. I did make a really silly mistake when I was following the pattern instructions. So I'm gonna explain it to you so that if you see the fit of my cardigan and then you're looking at Bella's or some of the other pattern testers, you might see slightly different look in the fit. Yeah, so I'll explain my mistake. It's knit bottom up. I knit up to where you split for or do the shaping, I guess, the armhole shaping, and also the decreasing along the neckline here. So you're supposed to follow the instructions to do the decreases here, and it says to knit a certain amount of stitch pattern repeats. I misunderstood how much I was supposed to do, so I actually knit fewer pattern repeats, which means the depth of my armhole is not as long, or it's not as deep as the actual pattern should be. I didn't catch this until after I had done the front panels, the back. I had put on the scalloped like button band, and I was picking up stitches for the sleeve when I realized the amount of stitches that I could pick up were less than what my pattern size had called for. And I wasn't about to rip everything back to fix that, especially since the fit, it still fits me. Like, it's not like this armhole is cutting up into my armpit. My actual armpit is right here, and this still gives me like 1.5 to 2 inches there. So it's comfortable. I was fine with that. But yeah, I was really disappointed in myself for missing something so crucial. So essentially, I guess the or I don't think this would be called the bodice, but this arm shaping section is shorter than what the actual pattern calls for. And I guess I knit the body in a size 3, but then for the sleeves, I actually picked up and knit for the size 1. And as you can see, they're roomy. The actual pattern would, like, if you followed the correct sizing, the sleeves would be a little bit more balloon shaped, obviously, because they would have been a little bit bigger and then decrease at the cuffs. So yeah, I was a little disappointed with myself, but very glad that the actual cardigan fits okay. I think that it just changed the shape of the garment a little bit to where it's just a little bit more boxy. And Bella's version is a little bit more elongated. and classic looking. So I'm happy with the shape and fit on me, but make sure that you go and look at Bella's version and look at the other test knitters' versions and see what you like for the shaping. I'm going to include all of the modifications or mistakes that I made on my Ravelry project page. So if you do like this, you know, shape, you could replicate it yourself. And then another small modification I made was, because these are the size 1 sleeves, the decreases made the cuff just a little too tight to be able to fit over my hand. So I explained them on my Ravelry project page, but I just did slightly less decreases so that the cuff would be comfortable on my hands. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it fits. I think it's gonna look really pretty with my dresses and different outfits. I'm actually planning on wearing this tonight, and I'll probably take some finished object photos with that outfit, so you might be able to see them. I'll show you what it looks like unbuttoned. These buttons are probably not the best idea for this yarn, because the buttons kind of have like little catchy edges to them, and then the yarn snags on it. So I need to be careful when I'm buttoning it up and undoing it. But that's it there with it open. You can kind of see the scallops a little bit better. And it's a very warm knit. I'm getting a little hot in it right now, but it's gonna be awesome for cold winter days. I think Nutiden yarn is great for that. It's just such an airy, fluffy yarn that it just it has such good insulating properties. All right, I changed back. It was getting too hot in that. So my other finished object, I can't show because I gifted it to my nephew, but I made a Manhattan hat for him. We were visiting on a family day long weekend a couple weekends ago, and he had said that he wanted a black toque. So I really love the Manhattan hat pattern by Tori Yu. It has such a good fit to it. So this time I used one strand of Patons Kroy in like a charcoaly black color, and then one strand of Knit Picks palette in a solid black. So it gave it some depth with that charcoal mixed with the solid black, and I'll see if I can find a picture and put it up there on my nephew's head. But he was happy with that. So that's it for finished objects for knitting, but I do have a finished object from sewing. And this is the Daria dress. I'll put up a picture first of the pattern so that you can see it, the full dress. But yeah, it's just kind of like a Western wear inspired jumper. And a friend of mine was making it, so we made it together. She actually finished like 2 versions in the time that it took me to make my one, but yeah, she made some really cute versions. One was like a black denim, and one was this pink kind of canvasy fabric, and then I made mine out of a navy blue corduroy. So see here, this is it in all her glory. I'm not sure if you can see, but yeah, I don't think the camera's gonna pick it up, but yeah, there's just like a whole bunch of different kind of like panels, lots of top stitching because it is like country Western style. So there's two strands of top stitching, or two like yeah, rows of top stitching everywhere. And there's belt loops, and there's front pockets, back pockets. So there's lots of just like little kind of finicky details. But once I put my mind to it and got around to actually sewing it, it went really good. yeah, I really like the notions that I use, these brass buttons and the brass belt slider things. I got these from Blackbird Fabrics, and the actual corduroy fabric I got from just Fabricland. I like everything about the pattern. The instructions are super clear. Something that I had forgot about corduroy, because I don't sew it very often, is it's directional. So it has kind of like a nap to it, like velvet or velour does. So when you're cutting things out, you need to make sure that they're all going in the same direction, because the light will catch, I'll show you, the light catches it differently. Not even sure if it's going to show on the camera. I might take a picture afterwards, whoops, and show you. But yeah, the light kind of just like shines on it differently. So I cut out a couple pieces going in the wrong direction. And I didn't realize this until after I had sewn it together, serged the edges, done all the top stitching, and then I saw that they were going in the wrong direction. But I couldn't be bothered to take them out and like rip out all of those seams and everything, so I just left them. They were just these two back yoke pieces. I'm not sure if you can see if the light catches it a little differently. And then in the front, just the inside of the pocket pieces here and here. So thankfully, like, it wasn't just a whole skirt panel or one of the bodices and not the other. So it's just like a little bit at the pockets, a little bit at the back, and they kind of are in the same area. So yeah, I just left it. It's fine. When I'm wearing it and moving around and everything, I don't think that you can really notice. But I'll put up some pictures of what it looks like on. And when I had finished it, I was still not quite done my cardigans, the pressed flowers or the Primavera, but I wanted to try it with those because I thought that it would look good with those. So you can see some pictures of me trying it on with that. And then another one of my knit sweaters, my alder sweater, I thought it looked really good with that. So yeah, I think that it'll pair nicely with some of my knits. So now we'll go on to whips, which I really don't have that many works in progress right now. I kind of finished up a whole bunch, but I decided to go back and work on some sock patterns that I was kind of like tinkering away at. So the first one that I'm going to tackle is this one here. And I've shown this on the podcast many months ago, but I'm actually going to finish it. So this is using yarn from Zeezee Textiles. This is the colorway Baroque, and then the contrast color there is Five Flies. So it's just got a little bit of color work on the cuff. You can see it's actually purled color work, so it just gives it a little bit more of a texture, and they can be kind of like slouchy on your calf if you want, or you can wear them pulled up. And with this pattern, I wanted to try some different like heel and toe options rather than just your always used, you know, heel flap and gusset or short row heel. I wanted to try something different. So for this pattern, I'm going to have one sock with an optional different heel that you might not have tried before, and another toe style that you might not have tried before. But then I'll also include a regular heel and a regular toe if you don't want to be adventurous. But for this one, I used what's called a bootstrap heel. And I had never made it before, but yeah, it's just a little different shape. It kind of goes straight down here and there, and you actually Kitchener stitch this tiny little bit together at the end. So I wanted to see how I liked that on my foot. People say that it's a little bit of a shallower heel, so if you have a high instep or a wide heel, you might not like the fit of it, but I'll include all of those details in the pattern to kind of help you make an educated decision on what heel you want to make for your socks. And then the toe, I haven't totally decided on, but there's a couple options that I wanted to go with. I'll let you know the book that I'm using that gives these different heel and toe options. It's called Sock Architecture by Lara Neel, and Earth Tones Girl actually recommended this book in her podcast. So it just kind of goes into like in-depth sock anatomy, how it should fit your foot, you know, percentages of what you need for negative ease in the circumference of your foot, but then also the length. And like, if you really want to get geeky and nerd out with socks, this is the book. It's super interesting. But then it goes into different heel constructions there, different toe constructions that I had never ever seen before, and then there are some actual patterns in the back of the book. But yeah, I've had fun kind of playing around with some of the different construction methods there, and just learning what's a better fit for my foot, what I prefer. But then also, yeah, giving other knitters options to choose from. I always like to learn something new with my knitting instead of just make the same thing over and over. But once you do find something that fits, that you really like I makes sense to keep making that over and over. But a part of me is still curious, like, well, what else is out there? There might be something better that I like more. So yeah, I wanted to try that out with this sock. So that was my plan. This is my experimental heel and toe. And then I'm going to make another version out of this yarn. This is from Curio Fibres, I believe. I'll put her information below. She is a dyer out of New Mexico, and oh, she just has the best eye for color. Like, her brights and neons and fun color mixes are just so fun to see. But one of her options on her website is for her to create a colorway for you. Basically, you just send her a color story or even a photo, and she'll pick out colors from that picture or that photo and dye up a colorway for you. So that's actually what she did for me here. I sent her some photos on Pinterest that I liked the color stories in, and then she created this colorway. And it's just so fun. I haven't yet knit up a swatch yet, so I'm excited to see what it looks like knit up. But this is going to be my other version of this sock, and this is going to be with the tried and true heel and toes that I know that I like. So when Angelica from Curio Fibre sent me that ball of yarn, or that sock set, she actually sent me an extra one to be able to gift to one of you. So if you love these colors as much as I do, there's like peacock blues in there and some oranges and pinks. So if you would like to have a matching sock set along with my special colorway, why don't you comment below and let me know what you're working on. What's your current project? It can be knitting, crochet, sewing, spinning, whatever, pottery, whatever you're working on. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll reach out I'll randomly select a winner. I'll let the contest run for 2 weeks, so let's say March 15th. I'll choose a winner and then be able to send out your pretty sock set from Curio Fibres. So that's it for FOs and whips. I'll just finish up with letting you know my next cast on. So I have a few swatches. They're kind of like secret swatches for summer knitting projects, so I can't really show those. But my next cast on is going to be for a tessellated cardigan by Andrea Mowry. As soon as I saw the tessellated cardi released, I guess it was a week ago or so, I knew that I wanted to knit that. All of the other tessellated patterns are so beautiful, but none of them called out to me the way that the cardigan did. And I think it is that shape of cardigan. It's actually very similar to the Pressed Flowers, just a V-neck boxy cardigan. I know it's going to be very easy to wear, easy to pair with different outfits. So when I saw that, I knew that I needed to cast it on. And then I looked in my yarn stash and I had all the yarn here. So it's kind of a given. I had to. So I'm going to be swatching for it later this week. But this is the yarn that I have for the tessellated cardi. And I'm undecided between the mohairs. So this is going to be my main color. This is just a sport weight wool. I actually bought it on a D-stash, so I don't know what exactly it is, but someone had hand dyed it, so it's just like a really, really dark teal. The camera kind of picks it up just as dark, but there are kind of lighter teal bits in there. And then for the contrast colors, I have Spin Cycle dyed in the wool in these 3 colorways. So I've got Fine Line, and this one is Ghost Ranch, and Mississippi Marsala. They're just so pretty. The Robin's Egg Blue and the Peachy Pinks. I think they're beautiful. So I'm going to make kind of a fade between these. And then the pattern calls for a mohair. So I had these 2 options. I have this baby blue or dusty blue. Every time I pull out mohair, my nose like starts to itch. I'm not allergic, but I don't know what it is. Maybe I am a little allergic. Anyways, I've got this dusty blue. I feel like this is just a safe option, like it goes really well. I am going to make a swatch with that, but then I also have this kind of like unexpected option. So this is Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Blood Orange. So I have enough in either of these mohairs, and in the swatch I'll do both and kind of see what I like best. I kind of think I'll probably end up with the blue, just because I think that'll be easier to wear and match with outfits, but who knows, the red might just be really fun and I can't resist it. So we'll see. But yeah, that's going to be the next thing on my needles, and I'm quite excited about it. All right, well, thank you so much for sticking around, hearing me ramble about knitting. I hope that you're all doing well. Enjoy whatever projects you're working on, and I will catch up with you next time. Take care.